Have you ever reflected on a nation that carved mountains and transformed them into majestic palaces? A nation that mocked the world and proudly declared, "Who is stronger than us?" Yet when the command descended from the heavens, those very palaces were buried beneath the earth. After Prophet Noah, peace be upon him, another mighty nation arose, the people of Ad. They lived in the region of Al-Ahqaf, between present-day Yemen and Oman. Their legendary city was called Iram Dat-ul-Imad, the city of towering pillars, a city said to rise so high it seemed to converse with the sky itself. Their bodies were built like mountains, their stature reached the clouds, and their arrogance tore through the heavens. They boasted, "We are the inheritors of the earth. We will live forever." Across the vast sands of Ahqaf, their settlements stretched far and wide. The earth trembled beneath the hooves of their horses. By night, the glow of their lamps could be seen from miles away. Their city appeared like a crown resting upon the earth. In every gathering, one claim echoed again and again. "People like us will never be born again." Even their children displayed strength at a young age, lifting heavy stones with ease. The elders would watch proudly and say, "Our children will one day bend mountains." They held another strange belief. They thought the wind was their servant. Their young men would stand in the valleys, spread their arms, and laugh, saying, "Look, even the wind follows our bodies." The elders boasted in their councils, "Our forefathers controlled the direction of the wind. Who could ever stop us?" When storms appeared on the horizon, they laughed and said, "The wind is on our side. It will strike our enemies, not us." They did not realize that this very wind had already become their greatest enemy. The people of Ad were not only tall, their physical strength was far beyond that of ordinary humans. Even today, enormous footprints are said to be found near rivers and mountains, leaving people in awe. The doors of their homes were so high that a horse and rider could pass through together. Their cooking vessels were carved from stone, so massive that a single pot could prepare food for an entire family. As years passed, their arrogance only increased. Their pride grew stronger with time. Then Allah sent to them his prophet Hud, peace be upon him, who called out, "O my people, worship Allah alone. There is no deity worthy of worship besides him." They replied mockingly, "Do you want us to abandon the religion of our forefathers? We are powerful. No one can defeat us." Hud, peace be upon him, warned them, "I fear for you a punishment beyond your imagination." But when hearts are filled with pride, advice shatters as if it strikes stone. Day after day, Hud, peace be upon him, stood in their markets, at their palaces, and by their gates, delivering his final call. Some leaders laughed and said, "If your words were true, our palaces would have already collapsed." Children mocked him, and others turned away, fearing that the reminder of Allah might reach their hearts. One day, Hud, peace be upon him, entered their grand assembly, where the chiefs sat upon golden thrones. He said, "Look at the system Allah has created. Your strength is nothing before him." They laughed and replied, "Enough of these weak threats. If punishment comes, we will stop it with our own power." A few days before the punishment, something strange occurred. At night, a deep sound echoed across the sky. There was no thunder, no lightning, yet it felt as though a distant call was being made. The people said, "It is merely the sound of the mountains." Hud, peace be upon him, replied, "This is not a call of mercy. This is a warning." The following night, the earth trembled slightly, so gently that only the animals became restless. The people laughed, saying, "Even the earth fears our strength." They did not know it was the earth's final protest. Then Allah's decree arrived. A severe drought struck them. For 3 consecutive years, not a single drop of rain fell. Rivers dried up. Wells turned to dust. The land hardened like stone. The people stared at the sky, waiting for rain. But the sky answered only with silence. In the first year, they said, "This is nothing." In the second year, thirst cracked their lips and dried their tongues. Empty pots echoed against the walls. Animals collapsed from exhaustion. By the third year, the laughter, pride, and voices of Ad, once loud enough to challenge the heavens, vanished completely. When they finally came to Hud, peace be upon him, he did not weep. He only said, "The time of punishment is near." Then one day, 3 clouds appeared in the sky, one red, one white, and one black. A voice called out, "O people of Ad, choose one of these clouds." Their leaders laughed and said, "The black one, it carries rain and mercy." They did not know it carried destruction. The sky darkened. The air turned cold. People began to dance and shout, "Rain has come!" But it wasn't rain. It was a storm of punishment. The first blast of wind struck. Dust and stones filled the air. With every gust, it felt as though their very names were being erased. The second blast came. Trees were uprooted. Animals were thrown into the air. Their idols, their pride, their gardens, their city, all were torn apart. At night, parents clutched their children tightly, but the wind roared louder than their screams. Then came the third blast, and people themselves were lifted into the sky. Their palaces, once standing on towering pillars and reaching toward the heavens, were buried beneath the sand. For 7 nights and 8 days, the storm raged without pause. The sky thundered, the earth shook. Their glory was reduced to dust. Allah declares that the people of Ad were destroyed by a furious howling wind that raged over them for 7 nights and 8 days. When the wind finally stopped, nothing remained but silence. A vast sea of sand and lifeless bodies scattered like hollow palm trunks. Yet those who believed alongside Hud, peace be upon him, were saved. Allah sheltered them within a mountain cave. Hud, peace be upon him, prayed, "O my Lord, you are the most merciful. Keep us firm upon the paths that lead to you." Standing above the valley and gazing upon the destroyed city, tears filled his eyes. These were the people who once declared, "Who is stronger than us?" And now, even their traces had vanished into the wind. Hud, peace be upon him, said, "The end of arrogance is always destruction, and disobedience to Allah leads only to ruin." Even today, beneath the sands of Ahqaf, the city of Iram remains buried, a silent testimony that honor does not come from power or pride, but only from obedience to Allah. This is not merely a story. It is a timeless reality, a reminder that when humanity sinks into arrogance, oppression, and injustice, Allah erases it from the earth.